to record. So this is the Lot Mutual Aid Group monthly meetup. This month we're really lucky because we got to have two meetups, which is rare. Usually we just do once a month, but the timing just worked out. And so next month I said we were going to skip, but then I got to book another awesome human. So we aren't going to be skipping July and August. We actually have folks booked out all the way through November now. Like Mallory, they are talking about their amazing libraries of things or tool libraries from around the world. Um, Mallory is from Safety Harbor Public Library in Florida, and she graciously said that she would chat with us today and tell us a little bit about this amazing collection that I'm so jealous of, and I can't wait to emulate and ask more of. I'm going to let her talk, but if you guys have questions, please don't hesitate to put them in chat, or we'll have time after her presentation for you to ask more. And don't be shy. Even if you think it's a silly question, I guarantee you it's not. We all want to know the answers. What folks think are silly questions are often some of the best. So please don't hesitate to pop that in the chat. Mallory, thank you so much for being here with us and taking the time. And I'm going to throw it over to you.
Okay. Uh,
And let me know if you have sharing ability. I mean, I should have given it to you. Oh, yes, you do. Okay, I see it.
yes. And hold on, it's covering it up. So I am Mallory Sear, and I am the Adult Services Manager from the Safety Harbor Public Library. We are in the Tampa Bay area in Pinellas County, which is near Tampa and St. Petersburg, if you're not familiar. We started our tool library in 2016, and it has just taken off from there. My department runs the tool library. We are the reference department. I have a staff of 4 of us that maintain all the tools and the check-ins and checkouts. We take care of all the paperwork. We do all the account management, fines, and reservation preparation for the whole library, the whole tool library. So it's a bit much, but it's a lot of hats that we juggle. But yeah, but we make it do, and we have pretty much grown every single year since we started the tool library. And I'll just show you this picture that you're seeing on the screen is the back of the reference desk. So all the tools are checked out at the reference desk, and we prepare the reservations for pickup behind the desk, and we line them all up on an empty cubicle that we have back there. So we have a collection of 424 titles or tools. They were either purchased or donated. We did start our tool library with about 95% of donated items. And then since then, we have added into our collections development a tool library line where we are able to purchase or replace items that have been damaged or buy new things that patrons suggest. We have electric, battery, or hand-powered tools. We're not allowed to have gas-powered items for safety reasons, which is quite nice to not have to deal with that anyways, regardless of safety reasons or not. Yeah, it's good. We have, these are some of our items. We have blowers, miter saws, belt sanders, reciprocating saws, shop vac, drills, circular saws, table saws, tile saws, a lot of saws, wheelbarrows, air compressors, carpet cleaners, shovels, a lot of different items. Like we said earlier, we use My Turn for our collection. We are a single branch library within Pinellas County, and Pinellas County is a cooperative. We're not a countywide multi-library system. We are a countywide cooperative made up of individual municipalities. So when we first started, we couldn't really figure out a good way to put the tools into our ILS system. So we went out and we looked at My Turn to have just for our tool library, which has actually worked out quite well because our ILS system doesn't allow for reservations. It allows for holds, but it doesn't allow for reservations. So patrons wouldn't necessarily know what date they'd be able to get their tool for pickup. Whereas for using My Turn, we are able to have a calendar and people select the dates that work for them. And they can kind of plan their schedule on when they're able to use the tool that they check out. So our first year subscription was just $500 a month or a year. And since we've grown, we're up to 1,800 a month or a year, sorry. Should I be looking at this chat? Sorry.
No, we're just
No, okay.
playing backup for you.
Okay. All right. So
Jean, I will say that Jean is correcting you in the
I
background.
know,
Jean,
sorry.
that's all right. We're so
It's a
lucky to
year.
have you both.
Yeah, okay.
Folks who didn't know, we have Gene also here, and he is with My Turn, and so he's able to give some more details on it. And he says, "FYI, there are limits on the current plan. Uh,
Oh, there are. What are
a
the
thousand
limits?
a thousand tools in one location."
Oh, well, we're way under there. We don't have to worry about that yet.
And I'm sure Gene was willing to work with any of y'all who have 1,000 tools too. So
Yeah. I don't think we'd be able to actually get that. I mean, we're running out of storage space as it is with just the 423. So,
never say never.
oh,
We're at like 1,400 now. So yeah.
really?
Yeah, but we
Well,
don't have your cool tools. So let's keep hearing about yours.
okay.
We'll
All right.
talk shop after.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Just let me know if there's any questions and I'll answer them
I
because
will
I
do
didn't
so. Yeah,
realize
yeah.
I wasn't paying attention up there.
No,
Okay.
no,
So
that's my
it's
job. You're all good.
okay. All right. Okay. All right. So the price is per year. So not per month. I keep misspeaking. So just there you go. All right, here is a sample record that we have. Gene is very good with his platform and we use as much as we can and we really appreciate it. We have an item ID, a name, which is usually the title of the tool that we have. The status along the left-hand side there, we use frequently when something gets returned and a patron has an issue with it and we need to take a look at it. We'll put it as in maintenance, just so that we have time to take a look at it and no one else places a reservation on top of it. We put in the manufacturer, the model, prices of the tools, details. You can put a link in there that we have for our manuals. It's very good. We use maintenance section down at the bottom right. That's for us. And we kind of keep track on what was replaced on what item at what time, just so that we know what's going on with the item. We no longer have chainsaws, but when we did have chainsaws, we would mark when we were to replace the chain. And then like if we had just replaced the chain and the patron brought it back saying the chain didn't work, we would know that there was an issue with the patron and not really necessarily with the item, which is sometimes good to note. We use the image files up at the top for taking a picture of the item so that people know what they're getting. We don't use the money field just because we have, since this is separate from our ILS, we don't use the money option on this section. We put all fines and fees in through our ILS, not necessarily through My Turn, if that makes sense. Our stats for last year, you can kind of see we have pretty much grown every year since we have opened. We have the fiscal year 2023-2024, we had 2,990 items checked out, which was about 249 items a month. This year we are up to 280 items a month, and we are reaching our summer hurricane season, and that is probably just going to increase more per month, which is good for us. It's a lot more work, but it's a needed service for our patrons. You can actually see our projection down there at the bottom, our total checkouts. Right now, we're 310 for the month of May, which is quite busy for us. The chart, you can see we have a steady increase. The flat line there was during COVID when we had to close the library for 3 months. But other than that, we have just grown year after year. These are our most popular items and number of loans that they've had for all time. So the highest number is pressure washers, and we have sanders and hedge trimmers and drills, trimmers, extension cords, carpet cleaners, brad nailers, leaf blowers, and I can't read the last one, but you can read it yourself. Miter saws, yes. So we have replaced quite a few of these items. These are not like an individual item that has last 1,134 checkouts. We do go through our pressure washers quite frequently. We figure at least once a year they get replaced, and we have 3 in circulation. So we always have one as a backup stored in our library that's not ready for checkout until one of the 3 develops an issue, and then we replace it with the backup pressure washer. We do have a few forms that patrons need to fill out for legal purposes. They have to sign initials through their online account, and then we also have to have them sign papers for our legal department. And they basically say that all patrons take care of the items themselves, and they use it, responsibly, and they take responsibility for their own actions. So we did have our legal department draft that for us, so it's all good. And that is it. It's a short presentation, so I'll take questions now.
We love short and sweet. Thank you
Okay.
so much. That's all good, Mallory. Yeah, we got hands clapping for you, and we already have a couple questions in chat. So,
Okay. All right.
folks, if you want, you're also welcome to show your face and ask questions. I just lead these things because no one else was doing it, but but we love having a real conversation with great humans like on this call. So please don't hesitate to to bop to unmute yourself and ask. But I'll ask you a couple in the chat, and then I have a few for you. And folks, keep them coming, or raise your hands and chime in. First off, we have one that is. Can you talk a little bit more about storage of this collection? A lot of
So
these are really bulky tools.
yes. So storage, we started out with a shed behind the library.
Okay.
It was an 8x10 shed, and we stored everything out there. We did that for about a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. And then we had some staffing changes in tech services, and a office cubicle became vacant. So we actually moved some of the more used items out from the shed and into the library. And it's just basically a small cubicle. It's probably by 6x8, and we have shelves up there, and there's a built-in desk, so we place our tile saws and heavier items on top of the desk, and then we have our air compressors and our pressure washers slide underneath, and same with like our edgers and our lawnmowers and things like that. So yes, then we had the inside office and the outside 8x10 shed, and we actually just last year got a larger shed, one that is over 6 feet tall. So the first shed we had to duck down to get into it. This shed is about 7 feet tall and is a 10x10. So we have and it's much nicer and sturdier. So we have, again, we have more of our larger, less frequently used or seasonal items like our seed
I was
spreaders we
calling
store
about
out in the
the
shed.
cell phone repair.
Someone else, not to worry.
Okay. All right. We keep some of our seasonal items out in the shed too, like our seed spreaders and things that don't necessarily go out year round. So
That is fascinating. So do you with that, the follow-up is, so how does that work logistically, like for your circ staff? So do they have to go out then and like go to the shed or go out and go to the cubicle and
yeah.
leave their stuff and then unlock it and then come back in with the tool, and meanwhile a queue is formed? Could you walk us through how this works?
So yes, we have our, so it's not done by circulation, it's done by the
Ah,
reference staff. And we
okay.
have our tool pickup days are Wednesday through Saturday. And we get the reservations for the following day ready at about 5 o'clock. And I always have someone, at least two people scheduled at that time, so that one person can be at the desk and the other person can go out to gather whatever is needed and brought to the reference area. We have two carts, two guarding carts that we use for loading and unloading, and the patrons actually can take those carts out to their car and bring the carts back as well. So those are quite helpful. But yes, so around 5 o'clock today, we are going to get tomorrow's reservations ready, and we'll take the cart, load it up from the items in the cubicle office that we have, or go out to the shed to gather what's needed out there, and then bring them out and sort them in the reference area.
Got it. Got it. This is one of the things that I find so delightful and fascinating is that there's always 1,000 different ways to do this. And that's what we learn like each month and on this listserv. Oh, well, we do it slightly differently. And that's, it's so helpful to hear from someone like you and how you're
Yeah.
doing it. So basically there is no option just to say if I wanted something spur of the moment to come in unless
No,
I'm on those 3 days. Okay, cool.
no. Yeah, and patrons can get irritated with us about that, but honestly, they'll survive. We need to have a reservation placed at least a day in advance. That's one of our rules. So they could really technically place the reservation at 11:30 p.m. tonight. We will get it tomorrow morning, get it ready for them to pick up. But we don't do same day pickups. You can't just walk in, get something to check out, because we won't be able to be organized that way. So
No, totally.
yeah,
Everyone has to figure out how it works for their community and their
yeah,
library.
yeah.
One of our people online asked if we were able to share your legal docs with the group so that we could see the examples that were drafted by the council. But my understanding is, and another human almost answered this, I think, is that your membership agreement and release form is all on your website. But were there
They
any
are.
other legal documents that we should know about if there's other libraries in Florida, especially that, because obviously it'll be different in different states, but that might want to copy this?
They are both on our website. You can view them there. I think,
Cool.
yeah, I don't,
Yeah, and those were the only two documents, right? That
yeah,
you
those,
really just
well,
found you needed.
yeah, so you have to have a Pinellas County Library card. So that's one
Yeah,
agreement that you have to have. We don't do reciprocal borrowing or any type of other types of borrowing for the tool library. You have to have a Pinellas County Library card, which means you need to be a resident or own property in Pinellas County in order to
yeah.
get one. Once you have the library card, then you can make the tool library account with that library card number. And then, yeah, then the agreement applies. But those are really the only three: the library card, the release, and the membership agreement that are needed for us. Some, I will say though, if you part of a large system, it might be more difficult to get this agreement. We are a small-ish library, part of Pinellas County, but we have a pretty good uh, city manager and staff that wants us to do fun things, and it worked out in our favor for that. But I know some libraries like Hillsborough County, they are more strict with what they can and cannot do. So, I mean, it just depends on your location.
Well, that's a great point. And another question we have here, which is, so could you clarify, are you part of that municipal system? Are you like a municipal employee then? Is your library owned by
Yes.
the city? Okay. And so your
Yes.
city, um, because oftentimes there's in different places in the world, it's a not you're a nonprofit or you're city owned, but you're a city library, and anyone
Yeah.
in the county can use this tool library.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
We are a city individual library, part of a county cooperative for the library system.
Super cool. And so on that, have you found that it has increased your membership? Do you find like people are coming from other towns to use your
Oh yeah.
library? Yeah,
Yeah, we have St. Pete Beach borrowers. We have Tarpon Springs. I mean, they take at least St. Pete Beach. It'll take at least 45 minutes depending on traffic to get here. So I mean, it's they're coming from all over. Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Um, so another question came up. Why no chainsaws? You had them, now you don't?
Well, that is, yes. So we had them for a long time
Yeah,
and it was great. People were thrilled to have the chainsaws and they would get used all the time. We would replace the chains diligently. The thing is that we just had one too many times where someone was using a chainsaw to chop up a stump and it got filled with dirt and debris, and it takes too long for us to clean it out. So the rule is that patrons check out the item, they note the condition of it, they use the item, they clean the tool up as best as they can, which is better or at least the same condition as when they got it. And they were not doing that with the chainsaws.
yeah,
So it just got to be too much. I mean, we had, I think, three different regular chainsaws and two pole chainsaws, and it just got to be too much. And our last chainsaw was one of the pole chainsaws, and people were using it to cut up the palm trees, which is not good for a chainsaw because palm trees are fibrous with long strings and they just wrap around everything and it causes a giant mess. And I just said forget it. So no chainsaws for us anymore. Sorry.
we don't do them either. We have chainsaw sharpeners, but no chainsaws. So I'm right with
Yeah.
you. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's just, if everybody would take care of them, it would be fine, but no one was taking care of them and it was just too much work. And I just said, forget it. So,
No, no worries. And also that's could you talk a little bit about like how you said a lot of these were donations, but are you looking to get certain tools in the future? Are they related to, did you have a lack of, for example, of access to tools in your area? Or was it more, for example, we don't do carpet cleaners because it's potential for grossness is high here,
yeah.
and we can rent them. So um, was that a factor? What is kind of your collection development policy when it comes to tools?
Okay, so your first question is the donated items. We started the tool library with donated items, but we have a majority now purchased. So we don't we still have a lot donated, but we've actually purchased a lot more. And it's all what we've purchased have been suggestions or like library staff doing a project at their house saying, oh, you know what, our tool library should have this, and then we go off and we buy it and whatnot. um but we do buy um quite a bit now than when we first started. We when we were first starting, we didn't know if it was going to actually work out, so we didn't want to spend a lot of money and have it fail with whatnot. So we asked the community for donations and they actually donated a lot and we were able to start that way. But since then we've purchased. Your your second question, I think, was the carpet cleaner one.
Well, in
That,
the sense of, are there items that, I was just curious if it was a lack of tools in your area that made you
oh,
specifically choose certain tools.
um, well, sort of. We have not a lack of tools. Well, I guess you could say it's a lack of tools, but we have a lot of snowbirds that
Mm.
have villas and condos and small properties that don't necessarily have a storage area. So, um, the idea was that they could use tools when they needed and not have to store them. It's also, we have some areas that actually don't have, can't afford to rent from Home Depot. So
Yep.
that's kind of the other thing there. And we can rent carpet cleaners, but again, it's affordability issue there. And so we do have those for checkout. And with the carpet cleaners, the carpet cleaners in the shop vac, there is a big high element for grossness, and we're very, very strict about it. So we actually take photos of these tools. We just started this actually last year. We take
Cool.
photos of the tools going out, and then upon returning, if patron says, well, it looks like this, it looked like this when I checked it out, we can say, no, here's a picture, it didn't look like that. We also take pictures of like if someone returns it and we have 5 other people at the desk and we can't actually examine the item yet, we'll take photos of how dirty it is and then email it to them and say we have to charge you a cleaning fee. But most of the time we're able to check it before the person leaves, and we give them we tell them we can't take it unless it's cleaned out. So carpet cleaners, they can get gross, and we've had a few times where it's just, you know, not good at all. But we send it back to the patron, and I've actually blocked one
Yep.
patron in particular from actually checking out a carpet cleaner again, because he just can't handle the cleaning of it, and we can't handle it either. And that's it. He lost his chances for that. So, I mean,
Ah, this so helpful. No, no, but you're
yeah,
providing it for the rest of your community.
right.
So
Yeah.
Kelsey, you have a question. I see your hands raised.
I have kind of two questions.
Okay.
So
Great.
the first is, do you have certain tools that you won't buy for safety reasons? Like, is there in your collection development policy, is there like a certain point that you're like, no, that's too much, we're not going to get it? And then the second question is, when you said that you've like discontinued or stop purchasing things because of like cleanliness or misuse, which we have as well, but are there any other reasons that you actively like de-ascension stuff from your collection? Is it just like misuse and cleanliness? Because that's our biggest, like we discontinued our air compressor because no one was emptying the air out, and we were like, this is going to explode, like we can't continue to circuit if people
Oh,
aren't going to use it properly.
no, we have air compressors too, and honestly, it's easy for us to just flip the switch and have the air come out on its own. So, I mean, it's not air compressors aren't our big concern. I won't buy drain snakes. That is an absolute no. I will not do that at all. Um, we don't have a policy on how dangerous an item is. I mean, you can really use a pen as a weapon. I mean, if you wanted to. So, I mean, we don't have that written in our collection development for the tool library. It's the release statement and the membership agreement that they sign say that they take full responsibility. Library staff, city staff are not responsible for any misuse or whatever they do with the tool. So we have what we use mostly for our on what we determine can be added to the collection is size and cost. So if it's huge and if it's heavy and it's $1 million, we're not going to buy it. So we have had people request some I forget what they're called, but they're like a tamper, a motorized tamper. We've had people ask for that, and they're like $600, $700, and we can't afford that. So Our price ranges is like 300 and less. And our size is, we have one item that was actually donated and it's about 75 pounds and it kind of lives on the cart that we have for it. But other than that, everything else has to be less weight than that. So, and we haven't actually purchased anything that's that heavy before. So, or ever.
Those all great points. And
Yeah.
again, folks, if you're new to this series, we record as many of these presentations as we can because, Mallory has these great uh, answers for her community, but it ends up all of our communities are unique and different. And just like that, guess what? All of our libraries are unique and different and have different answers. So I would encourage you to take a look at a variety of
There we go.
humans. We also have some
Got
other
it.
questions in the chat. Um, so Lydia asks, how do you label your tools? Do you use luggage tags? Do you have engraving pens? Are you using barcodes? What's the story there?
Um, I don't have any here, but we have little stickers with our logo on it. And we also write on Sharpie SHPL on every item that goes with that tool. So say the carpet cleaner, it comes with the 2 tanks. We'll write SHPL on both of the tanks and on the machine. Um, and then we put the sticker on it, but that's it.
Cool. And then I remember one of these, we had a really great discussion about people who do cleaning fees, don't do cleaning fees, why or why not. So that is a question. But we also have a question, how much is your cleaning fee?
Um, I think our agreements say it's up to us to
Nice.
determine the cleaning fee. Yeah. But typically it's between 10 and $20 depending on how gross it is. But honestly, I prefer not to
Mhm.
do that. I want them to actually bring the item back home to clean it. It's just kind of like one of those things to kind of extra deterrent for patrons to bring it back dirty. The patron that I mentioned earlier, that I said can't have carpet cleaners anymore, he was habitually returning them back and we were charging him $20 and he was just using it the wrong way, so that's why that didn't work. But most people, they flip out if we have to charge them for anything, even the $2 late fee, so they're pretty good with.
Yeah, I mean, you're better than me. We charge them for the whole replacement cost. If you can't bother to be cleaning it, either we
Oh,
won't take it or we'll say you buy us a whole new one if you don't want to clean it. And then they
really?
usually end up cleaning it.
Right, yes, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty, we honestly, our patrons are pretty good. It's just, the
Same with
handful that you
ours.
have to make these rules about, so most of the patrons, they're very good. They wipe everything down, they brush it all off, they clean it out. They're very, we have even people that, like, we don't supply sandpaper, but we have,
Hmm.
or well, we sandpaper or something else. We don't supply that, but we have patrons that go out and they will buy the sandpaper and put leftovers in the bag for another person to use. So most of the time, our patrons are very considerate and kind and appreciative. It's just that handful that, you know, you have to have the fines for. So
Um, yeah, no, I agree. Most humans we're all trying to
yeah,
do some good together, right? And we all make mistakes too.
yeah.
That's another factor. Speaking of mistakes, Jean asks, do you lend bolt cutters? Some tool libraries are not lending them, it looks like, because they could be used for theft, which I was like, huh, we lend bolt cutters. I
Yeah,
know
we
they've been
do.
used by local humans to get into their basements and things.
Oh, yeah, well, we do lend bolt cutters and we have
Yeah.
wondered that, but I mean, really, it's just like a book. I mean, someone who checks out a book on guns, what, I mean, there's only so much, you know, responsibility the library has, and the patron needs to have their own responsibility somewhere. We actually have used the bolt cutters to unlock a bike lock because patron, and we knew it was the patron's bike,
Yeah.
he lost his key and he couldn't get home, and so we actually used them to unlock his bike from the bike rack. But
I love using library of things
yeah.
items for staff. No, it works out. And patrons, it's great.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, oh, your car's stuck in our parking lot. We can get it out of there. Let's
yeah,
solve
here's some
this.
jumper cables. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited by your collection because it does have all these things that we don't have. It specifically, you have all these power saws, which I was just curious if you had any. It sounds like the city was completely behind this. So you had no pushback. I think for us, there's that nervous factor. And also, we do lend other power saws, but we don't lend the blades with them. So I was curious if you lend the blades with all your saws. And then how do you make sure they're sharp? And do you make sure people have the right blade? Like with a jigsaw, for example, you need a different blade if it's metal versus if you're cutting plastic. So how do you deal with all that?
So we do provide blades with the tools. We also have some blades that are separate. Um, in the item description, it lists what type of blades are in with the item.
Yeah.
And then, if they need something different, they can go out and buy whatever they need, but they have all the information they need to make sure it's the right blade to go with the item they're checking out. And we haven't had any issue with that. We've actually had some people that they've needed the blade, they went out and bought it, but then when they returned the saw, they returned it with this new blade and they donated that. So
Awesome.
yeah. And we haven't
Yep.
had any pushback from the city regarding it. I mean, again, it's the patrons, we're just providing the stuff. The patrons need to provide their own responsibility. We do, I mean, kids are not allowed to check out the tools. It's 18 and over. Children aren't even allowed to pick up for their parents if they're under, because we've had some teenagers come in to pick up for their parents, but the parent needs to come in to actually physically get the tool. So, I mean, it's again, they need to have, you know, their own
Yeah.
responsibility for it. So,
Oh, it's so exciting to
mhm.
see all these offerings. And what is so I also saw something I didn't know what it was, which I had to ask. What is an electric dethatcher?
it
I must
it is
know.
um it pulls up the dead grass from. So like
Oh,
when you mow the lawn, you usually just let it sit on top of the grass and then it soaks down and
yeah,
decomposes eventually. Well, this
yeah.
will pull up all that dead grass to the top so that you can rake it away. It's
Fascinating.
Yeah, I had to look it up
Okay.
myself. I
Yeah.
never would have in a million years thought to get one, but someone asked for it, and so it's not one of our widely used items, but it occasionally does go out. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fabulous. Okay, I was like, I'm going to learn something new today for sure. I got to ask
Yeah.
about this.
We
Um,
have tillers, which are more popular, and you know what a tiller is, it just
yes.
turns up the dirt. But yeah, the dethatcher is similar but for grass.
Yeah, oh, that makes sense. Well, so our library is a little different because we're based on like no-till ag and permaculture for our gardening sections. So that's why it would make sense the dethatcher probably wouldn't be a fit,
I
but
think you
now I
have
know
nicer
something new.
grass. Yeah. I think you have better grass than we do down here because
I don't know.
it's the hard St. Augustine terrible grass. I don't know what they're doing with it, but they're
No,
doing
it's
something.
you're meeting your community's needs. So I mean,
Yeah.
on that point, are you thinking about expanding this to beyond tools? Are tools, is it more kind of garage tools? Or are you thinking of going into kitchen tools and, other types of items?
So we do have other items. They're just not in the tool library. So our library has cake pans and we have seeds and we have instruments and STEM kits. We have ukuleles.
Mhm.
We have um, hotspots, pickleball kits. We have a variety of other items that are actually in our ILS. It's just
Yeah.
tools we have separate. So,
So it was a leading question because I kind of knew the answer to that one. So, but
okay.
I wanted to make sure everyone knew that. I
Yeah.
thought it was really interesting how you pulled these items out and then kind of left those in, which I think again for each of our communities, um, there'll be some of us are in communities where you actually can't reserve the tool, and other people have it where you can reserve about 10 tools, but then everything else is just check outable like a book is. So
Right.
I thought
Yeah.
your combo was really intriguing. Was there any rhyme or reason for that particularly? Have you ever thought about moving some items over, or is it just something that naturally evolved and it's working out well?
Well, the tool library was first. We had the tools first before anything
Mm,
else. And we couldn't figure out how to add them into it would have been a huge project to add the tools into our ILS system
Yeah.
because it has to go through, I mean, it's not just our library, it's a whole county. So
Yeah.
it was just going to be a giant project. And figuring that out, it was just easier to do this. We can do it in-house. It's right here. We take pictures, we make the records, and it's done in a few minutes rather than going through the whole county ILS system. But we started with the tool library. That was our very first um, library of things item, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, and since then, we've added the hotspots and the seeds and the cake pans and the pickleball kits and everything else.
So cool.
Yeah.
Um, So another question is kind of how do you package these items for the patron to check out? Are they loose? Do you do custom cases for all of these? We've heard from people who are doing custom cases for every item and other people who are like, no, we slap a sticker on it, you get what you get, and you don't get upset.
Yeah, we do a variety.
Yeah,
So shovels, you just get the shovel. We'll put our sticker and we'll write SHPL on it. A lot of like our drills, they come with the case. Like our newer items that we're buying, they come with a nice little case that comes with the tool, which is great. And so we just put everything in the case and we write SHPL on it and stick a sticker on it if we can, and we give that out. For some of our other items, we use those clear library bags, the
hmm
Mylar bags with the handle. We put stuff in there, and then everything else. Oh, we do have a couple bins, like shoe bins with lids. We'll put
Yeah,
some items in there. So it's just a variety of whatever. I mean, it depends on the shape and the shape of the item too. So
cool. So this is, again, folks, we have about 15 minutes left, so please don't hesitate to raise your hand, put those burning questions in the chat, whatever is best for you. One of my pet projects thinking about the future is kind of standardization of naming and naming conventions and cataloging. I really love your practical approach of like, hey, let's get the tools to the people. Let's figure this out. Let's make it happen. And, just going for it. Have you thought at all about, as your system gets more complex, like, cataloging standards, next gen stuff like that? Have you gone down that road at all? Okay, yeah. I think most of
no,
us are stuck in this, like, myself as well. Like, okay, we're getting the tools to the people. Yes, success.
yeah,
But it would be kind of cool too if, there's other tool libraries in your area. If someone could be searching, oh, I need to get a shovel, and then all of a sudden a shovel, your library would pop up just like and say, oh, I could get it at my local library instead of
oh,
buying it.
yeah. Well,
So,
there's a thought.
well, it
No, I
sounds like,
didn't. I never thought of that. No, we just pretty much use the title of whatever it is that we bought, like the brand and the, you know, quarter-inch jigsaw or whatever it is. And then we categorize it using Gene's he has sorting options through his website and we do that, but
yeah.
no, we haven't done any thought beyond.
No, well, why would you? Because it works really well.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it
those of you who
does.
aren't
Yeah.
familiar, the tool they use is called My Turn, and Jean is actually on the call, and they have a few different options for how to sort tools, which is really helpful. You have a kind of a tag-based system where you can determine things, as well as a hierarchical system that they have, that I know from personal experience. Jean is also welcome to get feedback on. So um, they're always working to improve that. So there's a lot there, as well as in our other IMLSs across the country. There's different ways of cataloging. So that's a kind of a different discussion. Um, but a fun one. So
Yeah.
as far as folks who are looking at your system, what are the things that you think that folks that you do really well that folks should mimic, and things that you're like, don't do this. We did this. It was a bad decision. Don't do it. I think those lessons learned can be really helpful for other libraries.
Well, chainsaws, I would not recommend those. Don't do
Yeah,
those. Um, I really, I mean, we survived for a long time without doing this, but I would recommend starting from this top of taking pictures of the items before they go out. It is a
love that.
big, yeah, it's a big help for staff specifically because it's a lot to remember. I mean, you can list the items on the records, but when someone is standing in front of you returning this multi-tool that has 20 different parts to it, it is, kind of like, wait, did this actually go with this or wasn't there supposed to be something else? We do have like some of our items, we have like a sheet on what's included the with the tool, but again, it can be a bit challenging to go through everything while someone is standing right there to make sure everything is right. So having a picture and a visual of seeing what actually went out with the patron and making sure that those same items came back with the patron is really, really helpful. It also is good for if someone disputes something, like if they say, oh, this was broken when I got it, and we can say, well, no, because it wasn't broken when we took the picture when you were checking it out. So we take um we take the pictures the day before. So when that's part of our 5 o'clock getting ready for the next day is we'll get all the items from the tool office or the tool shed. We'll bring them to the reference area. We'll take pictures of everything and then sort them so they're ready for the next day. And so that we're not taking the pictures right when a patron comes in to pick it up. So I would highly recommend that. We just have a little Android tablet. We just take the pictures, we store them just on the device. And I mean, we don't do anything with the pictures other than just take them. So I mean, it's good. It's just a good reference for us. So I would recommend that.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about how we can incorporate that into our operations here. So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
I was worried that it would take like too long, but kind of like another added thing for the that you have to do the day before, but really it doesn't take that much longer than, I mean, you just open up the case, snap a picture, all the chargers, all the batteries, all the whatever are there in the box, and then that's it. So,
Yeah, yeah, I think I could see it working actually really well for board games in our teen zone. So that
oh,
I'm bringing that
yes.
one back. So thank you.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. On that note, maintenance, could you talk a little bit about since you are dealing with blades and things like that, are you checking just on check-in and check-in out, how, if they're sharp enough in things, or is it you're relying on the patrons, or is it every 3 months you're going through and doing a deeper clean?
So the first two, we don't do we don't do the last thing that you said, but
Yeah.
we visually check it, make sure it looks okay according to us. And then when patrons return the item, we ask them how it worked, like if they had any issues with the items. And if they say, oh yeah, it seemed a little bit dull, we will take it and take a look at it and replace it if needed or whatnot. But yeah,
And
we
did all of your
actually had, sorry.
No, no, no. I was just gonna ask if all of your staff had these skills, or did you have to train them?
Oh no, we none of us had any of these skills. We've all learned, I mean, as time goes along. And I mean, we have right now out of my staff of four of us, the two of us have been here since the inception, and the other two, they had to learn, and it was a lot of training. I mean, it's a lot of training for a new person. But that is one of the questions we ask when we're hiring, like, can you deal with tools? I mean, this is a big part of our job, and if you're not comfortable with it or learning about it, then I mean, that'll be an issue. But we have my staff is just great. So they're very good. They're very conscientious, and they're good with the tools. And we're still, I mean, I don't know everything. We're still learning.
Oh,
So yeah,
yeah, it'd be
yeah.
no fun if we knew everything. Yeah.
No, right.
Yeah.
And maintenance wise, we do what we can maintenance wise. I have one staff person in particular who likes tinkering with things. So he does more than what's called for sometimes, which is really good. But um maintenance wise, if it's just too much and we can't handle it, we'll just discontinue that or weed the item out and buy a new one and replace it if needed. So
That's really cool. It's really cool. So is there anything other that we haven't gone over that you're like, oh, people should know this, like don't do this or do this? I know you talked about chainsaws and other things, but
Yeah.
and staff, and I mean, I've written down a bunch of notes of things I'm taking back. So thank you so much for all of
Um,
this. Any last words of wisdom?
I mean, not really. You need to figure out what works best for you. I mean, I
Yeah.
really like having the reservation system. I think if we did not
Hmm.
have that and people were just coming in all day long and requesting random things, we would just go berserk because we'd be running back and forth and everything. So for us, having the reservation and having 24-hour notice from patrons is is really good. Just because we're not only a tool library. I mean, we're also helping people
Right.
with the computers, we're doing programs, we're answering the phones, we're helping people find books, we're doing interlibrary loans, we're doing so much more. And having the reservation and knowing what's happening the day, the next day is just a big help. So I would strongly recommend that if you can.
That's awesome. You've really created an
Yeah.
amazing system down there, and again, just goes to show I really love your point of find what works for you. So, in
Yes.
your
Yeah.
community and your
Yeah.
team. So, I think that's something that we can all take back with us. All right, folks, it's just about your last chance here if you have any other questions. But I just want to say, Mallory, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us and tell us a bit about this amazing system you have. I think it sounds like it works so well for your community. And do you have any other tool libraries in your area? Are you really it for your county?
We're the main one. We're
Yeah.
the main one in pretty much, well, we were the first one in the state of Florida. I
Yeah.
know that I've done like talks before and of other libraries around the state trying to start their own tool library or even like just communities trying to start. But we're the best and most
That's why you're
successful.
here.
And that's why I'm here. Yes.
Yeah.
But we do, but like Clearwater, so Clearwater is part of our
Hmm.
countywide system. They do have like kits and it's within the ILS, but they'll have
Yeah.
like a drill kit and they have a couple other little things, not a dedicated to a library though. So it is, I mean, it's getting to be more well known that you can check out a drill from the library. So
Yeah, yeah, and that's what we're all on this together and on the Lot Mutual Aid so that we can all lift each other up and steal each other's brilliant ideas, like
yes.
taking pictures and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, gosh,
Yeah.
thank you for being a part of this community. And
Sure.
everyone who came today, thank you also for being a part of this community. We couldn't learn and do this if y'all didn't show up and participate on the listserv and ask awesome questions and, make cool software. So, again, I'm just really grateful for you all. And on that note, we're going to just keep doing this every month while people show up. Next month, Mallory, we're having this cool woman from Australia who's going to
Oh,
talk a ton about programming and how they have done this out of their public library, but also combined it with a rec center. So
wow.
that's next month. And then the month after that, we're going to hear from I think we're going to Iceland then and Estonia next. I don't know. I'll have
Oh,
to I'll check it all out. You'll see the emails,
okay.
team. But
Yeah.
yeah, lots of exciting cool models from around the world. So Mallory, thank you so much for being one of those
Yeah,
and
sure. You're
doing
welcome.
good work.
Yes.
All right. Well, everyone, I'm going to end this here, and lots of thank you in the text boxes for you, Mallory. Again, really impressive system. Please thank your team too for making it happen. I know, it takes a team effort, so really
Yeah.
appreciate you being here. And lots of hearts, claps, and thank yous.
Oh, good. All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Take care, everyone. See you next month.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.